So I know it's the top of the new year, but it seems like some of the same problems that we had in 2025, we have brought them into the new year of 2026. So earlier today, I saw a video from a gentleman talking about the oil field and the oil industry and the problems that they're facing. So it turns out that there are some signs that are showing that things are not going well in the oil industry. So let's take a look at this video from this gentleman and see what he has to say. But before we do that, I just want to take a moment to say, hey, my name is Miss April May, and I hope you're having a blessed day. If this is your first time visiting my channel, thanks for stopping by. And if you've been here before, thanks for coming back. Either way, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. Now, let's get into it.
Hey man, if you're in the oil and gas industry, listen up. Oil is about $56 a barrel. Okay, I'm gonna lodge here in Pecos, Texas. See all those buildings behind me? Look how empty it is. There ain't any trucks, there ain't any vehicles over there. You out here, man, working, be thankful. That dude ran off a job from just running his mouth. There are a lot of hungry people out here, man. And they'll outwork you. They'll stay longer. They'll do whatever it takes, especially in this economy. Empty. There's 400 plus rooms here. There's like 30 vehicles in the parking lot. So watch your P's and Q's.
So, the most important part that I took away from this video is that this gentleman says that at this lodging facility, and this place is meant to house oil field workers or people who work in the oil industry. This place is meant to house up to 400 people. Meanwhile, he said there's probably like not even 30 cars in the parking lot, right? So that tells you that they are not working to their max capacity. They are not, at least at this moment, employing to their full capacity, right? And so that makes me think either it's A, they don't have enough workers, they can't find people to do the work, they can't find people who are qualified to do the work, or B, which is we actually don't need more people to do the work because business is going badly right now, things are going poorly, and we don't need more people because there isn't enough work to go around. Now, if the case is B, that there's not enough work to go around and that, they don't need as many people as they usually do, my question is why? Like, what's going on there? So then I went and I took a little scroll through the comments because, like, that's my favorite part of videos, just like taking a look at the comments. And this person writes, I'm from Midland. Oh, like Midland, Texas. Okay. I'm from Midland. My dad was a welder. Only time he was ever laid off was during Republican administrations. People vote red because they want closed borders and the Second Amendment. But let me open it. But the trade, or I guess the trade, oh, but the trade is the oil business and everyone that works in it. So basically, yeah, you can have closed borders, you can have your Second Amendment, pew pew, right? You can have all of that, but you're going to have to give something up for it. And that thing that you may have to give up is your job or the possibility of a better job or a good job, whatever you want to call it. And then another thing that is quite interesting is like, okay, if the oil industry is having all of these issues, isn't Trump the one that said drill baby drill? So like, why is the oil industry having all of these issues where they're not even employing people or employees to their full capacity? You have this big lodging space for like 400 workers, but like you have like maybe 2 dozen or so. So if we're drilling baby drill, drill baby drill, where's all the people, right? Where's the people? People need paychecks. Like, and then I saw a lot of other comments that were like, okay, well, most of Texas voted for this, and Texans voted for this twice, meaning Trump administration number one and now this one. So Texas voted for this twice. So you kind of just, you got what you deserve type of vibes. That's the vibe I'm getting from some of these comments. And then this comment right here was interesting. Below $60, no profit equals no production. Oil people have been saying it was coming. So I was very interested by that because I think for most people, we don't pay attention to like the actual price of like a barrel of oil or crude oil. We just pay attention to the prices of gas at the gas station, right? Like your local gas station. You want to know how much that is because you need to fill up the tank of your car. Most of us don't actually pay attention to the price of a barrel of gas. People mentioned in the comments, they mentioned someone named Mr. Global. So I went and looked him up, and he also had some things to say about the oil industry as a whole. So let's take a look at that.
Texas. See all those buildings behind me? Look how empty it is.
So that gentleman's name is the Oilfield Dad, I believe, and he's at a man camp in Pecos, Texas, simply showing everyone how empty it is. And the funny part about it is there's a lot of people in the comments section saying, oh, it's the end of the year, it's the holidays. I don't know what you people do in the oil field. You're obviously non-essential. But the oil field that I spent 34 years in don't give a shit about the end of the year or the holidays. Unless it's really slow, unless it's really bad times. Yeah, ain't nobody drilling wells or completing wells getting time off because it's the end of the year or because it's the holiday. That's not a thing. I mean, literally, the only people I think it would slow down is maybe salespeople. And they are the most non essential people on the planet. The people that do the work are still working. So the EIA recently put this out. You see that right there? That is production dropping in the Permian for the first time since COVID, and only the second time since the beginning of the shale revolution, so around 2010 or 11. We've lost roughly 80 rigs that are drilling for oil, and we've lost 56 or 7 frac spreads. And the vast majority of that is all in the Permian Basin. If you're in the business and someone tells you it slows down at the end of the year or for the holidays, just disregard anything else they say. Seriously. Thanks.
Yeah, so I could definitely see that. Something like the oil industry doesn't really have a time off, right? I would assume you would always be producing oil, drilling for oil, processing it, all of those things like year round. Because, like, no matter what, you have equipment that needs oil, you have cars, trucks that have to do deliveries, people have to go to work, right? So, no matter what time of year, you need oil and you need gas. So it makes sense, like what this gentleman is saying, that it being the end of the year or it being the holidays really has no bearing on how many people are in that housing facility who are working in the oil industry. That shouldn't matter. If people were employed, they would be there, even if it weren't a holiday or the holiday season. Then he also showed that graph that showed that the production of oil has dropped dramatically, like past prior like COVID levels. So obviously there's an issue going on. And then I also wonder, okay, if this is happening on their side, because that's the thing that happens in a lot of industries, right? People who work in that industry and perhaps like the people around them, like their families who are affected by, their paycheck, people who work in an industry usually notice something first. They notice if something's off, if they're not getting as many hours, if they notice that their job is not hiring as many people, if they notice that it's more difficult to find a new job, if they choose to to leave their previous company. So people who work in the industry usually notice things first. So my question is, will we, the American consumer, the people who have to drive our cars, and buy gas, will we soon be figuring out and reaping the repercussions of all of this? That is a question that I would love for someone to answer. And I guess we'll probably find out soon either way. And since we're on the topic, I decided to do just a little bit of research and just like try to find an article that talks about the oil field or the oil industry and the issues going on there. And I typed in oil industry layoffs into Google, and this was like the first thing that popped up. And it talks about several of the oil industry leaders potentially or more than likely announcing and signaling that they will have some type of layoffs. Either they announced layoffs in 2025 or they announced layoffs that will happen in 2026. Like, for example, Chevron earlier this year said it planned to reduce its employees by 20 to 15% globally by the end of 2026, with about 200 people in the oil and gas hub in Midland, Texas. So people are definitely going to get laid off. There's definitely an issue here. There's more to this article. It's right here. You can pause to read it and, read it at your own pleasure. But anyway, so that's all that I have for you today on this oil industry and the potential crisis that is looming. We'll see. I want to hear from you in the comments. Are you a person who works in the oil industry? Do you see the writing on the wall and this could potentially get worse with more layoffs? Do you think the prices of gas will go up in the next few months or in 2026? Let me know what you think, especially if you are an oil field or oil industry worker. And also let me know if you think that it's related to Donald Trump and his policies. And also, that's my cat, Daisy. Well, that's all that I have for you today. So, like I said, please let me know in the comments how you feel about this topic. Also, let me know which topics you think I should cover next. Let me know if you see any interesting videos on TikTok or just interesting articles. Let me know. I would love to hear from you and get some new ideas for what to cover next. I just want to thank you for watching this video. Please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. My name is Miss April May, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.
You're officially coming with me. You got that.